Hey guys, so today I'm going to be doing my 2022 Voice Boys retrospective. Sorry if I sound like this. I am currently sick at the time of recording this part. I might not sound like this later on, but that's just a heads up. So yeah, let's get into the video. I am not ready for this because 2022 is my least favorite year for Voice Bedoys. So, yay, let's go.
Disappointment in the game of life.
Remember when New Year's episodes used to be good? Yeah, me too. This episode is fine, but there's a lot of things that I don't understand about it. First is that Voice Boys literally name drop Spider-Man at the start of the video, yet they can't even say stuff like TikTok or YouTube or Mario. Like, why can't they name drop any brands and they have to make fake ones, but they could name drop Spider-Man? Like, heck, there was during the Sightwood era, whose Storytime actually used to do that. I'm probably the only person that actually knows what those are. There was literally a video with PJ Masks and Spider-Man and Elsa. So like, why can they name drop them but not anything else? Those are copyrighted characters. Yet they're like, oh, we can't name drop this bull crap. And also, Len thinks that he's so special by learning the word hello in different languages. Yeah, he thinks he's special for doing that. I hate to break it to you, but no. But he also said hello in Zulu. Does that language even exist? And also, another thing I don't understand is that the Voice Bedoys Make a Smart Choice was literally at the 3-minute mark. The episode's 5 minutes. Like, why did he make a smart choice so early in the episode? He does it in like the last 30 seconds. Why are there so many plot holes in this one episode? But I'm sorry this episode, but you have to realize that you're never going to be the best. You're never going to be the best New Year's episode. Well, actually, any New Year's episode that comes out is already bad because the only good one is the first ever one. Like, that one's goated. But, yeah, for right now, I have to stick with... So, yeah, that's the first episode. I already want to die.
Disappointment in the game of life.
So, yeah, this episode surely exists. So it's basically, like, I can summarize this episode in, like, 5 seconds. So, this age is talking about a science experiment, and everybody's thinking what the science experiment is going to be. And then Voice Boys opens his mouth, and then everybody smells something bad. And then they go outside, Miss H tries to find where the smell's coming from. And they realize that it's Voice Boys' breath, and why? Because Voice Boys doesn't brush his teeth at night. Yeah, that's it. That's the whole episode. I'm moving on. I thought this was going to be a good idea because I could rant about bad episodes this year, but this is dumb.
Disappointment in the game of life.
Right now in this current part of the retrospective, these episodes are getting as bad as 2025 already done plot filler slop. Like, what am I supposed to say about stop making excuses? That's boring. I say that like every single time I make one of these reactions. Name one retrospective I made where I didn't call an episode boring. Well, I mean, yeah, there's only 2 videos up on my channel about these retrospectives, but still, these are actually getting agitating. I cannot, but there's only 2 highlights. Lois has a foot fetish because he tickles Royce's foot. I am not joking. And also, this is like the last time the narrator talks in an episode that isn't Royce make a smart choice, because she does it at like one point and then she does it at the end of the episode. So R.I.P. narrator, because you're as relevant as Baby Joyce. And that's saying something.
Disappointment in the game of life.
I said 2022 was my least favorite season, when after rewatching some videos, I realized that the season is not as bad as I originally thought. The earlier episodes I never really watched because, but this episode is actually really funny. Charlie makes an appearance, which is actually really good because he's one of my favorite Royce characters. I know it seems hard to believe because Charlie's just a dog. How can he be your favorite character? Well, I mean, he's like the only character in this entire show that never made fun of Royce. What about Mr. Wisely? Yeah, maybe him, but still. Also, Royce likes mint chocolate chip ice cream. This is why Royce is my favorite character. Because, like, how can people not like mint chocolate chip ice cream? Like, it's so good. If you haven't tried it, you need to. And if you have tried it and you don't like it, what happened to your taste buds? But, and also, remember don't sweat the small stuff, Royce. This episode makes that episode feel like a joke, because you don't act, because Royce is actually being appreciated for winning a soccer goal, but in that episode, it's literally the entire scene with soccer. They're just straight up bullying him the entire time. So, screw you, don't sweat the small stuff here. No one ever liked you in the first place. But this episode is actually pretty good. But we haven't even reached but this is just the tip of the iceberg. Well, the heavens of the iceberg. The iceberg is the bad thing, right? I think so. BMO. Whatever. I can't.
Disappointment in the game of life.
I'm pretty sure this is what I would call an iconic Royce episode, because I feel like this is another episode that most Royce fans have probably watched. But I'm not sure if that, it's just that I'm jumping to conclusions like Royce. So Royce wants to get the leprechaun shake, and he gets it, and then he thinks that Royce drinks it all, but he didn't. He just put it into another cup. I hate how both Royce and Royce are acting like this is the best milkshake ever. I tried it. It's not so I'm speaking from experience. It is not the best milkshake ever. It's a good milkshake. I tried it and it's really good. If you like mint chocolate chip, which is the shake without the chips, then you would like the milkshake. But I tried it and it's definitely not the best. That goes to Chick-fil-A. But next, Royce wants to go to the park to show his friends the milkshake, and then Maker doesn't respond, and then he goes to the park and is mad at him. And guess what? Maker jumps to conclusions right away, because Royce says that he's mad at him for being mad at. He said he's mad at Maker for being mad at him, even though even though like Voice didn't know that, and then make it as soon as possible. Literally just got mad at Voice for thinking that Voice was mad at him, which I just don't understand. Like, literally stop jumping to conclusions, Voice and Maker. Also, we need more episodes where another character is getting the smart choice. That happened once, and that episode is going to spoiler alert. I'm not going spoiler alert. It's gonna be one of my favorite episodes. But for right now, this is just a boring episode.
Disappointment in the game of life.
Finally, an episode I like. Finally, took this show long enough. It's not my personal favorite of this entire year, but it's actually a really good episode. I mainly like it because of how unique it is. This is the first and last time we've ever seen the campsite, which is actually really sad because there's so many possibilities they could go with, like something about lake safety, something like lake safety. They tried doing something like that with pool safety earlier this year, but if you wait until that time, no, I don't really like that episode that much. But it's just that this episode is super unique. But it's also really simplistic. It's only one scenario that lasts the entire episode. And yeah, filler. But this filler isn't as bad as it was this year because this year the filler was just boring to watch. Here, it is still kind of boring to watch. I had to put the video on 2x speed. But this episode is just really good and unique. Also, one has star eyes. I'm not wasting my time in putting the image here, but you can see it for yourself, so yeah, go do that. But yeah, this episode is just really unique and Woohoo story time. Bring back the campsite or else I'll make a rant video about you.
Disappointment in the game of life.
Do you like sitting there and watch a bunch of pranks, a bunch of April Fool's pranks, and then someone saying a prank that goes too far? Yeah, so essentially it's just everybody pranking each other until the last moment when Voice really told Wen that there's free food at the school, and everybody thinks he went too far, when there's where I could literally make an hour-long video on pranks more messed up than that. But for right now, what about the clown thing of 2016? I was only 3 or 2, depending on what time it was at that time, so I don't really remember it. But it was like a big prank that was really, really messed up. And I can go on and on messed up pranks more messed up than that. So, and plus, these kids are allowed to go on the internet. Half of them have phones. Voice does it now, and watch my Where's Characters episode, Where's Characters 3 if you want to know why. But this episode was just made to bash on Voice because there were pranks much worse than what he did. Yeah, what he did was messed up, but compared to the clown thing of 2016, or literally half the pranks in the world, it's not that bad of a prank. But, yeah, that's really all I have to say about this episode. Like I said, we're in the dark age of Voice of 2022. I just want to get to the gold at the end where I finally get to win. Woohoo!
Disappointment in the game of life.
Wait, what am I seeing? Is it the best episode of 2022? Oh my god! Finally, we have a good episode. I actually, when I was saying all of that, I was like, hey, maybe this is like 2020. There's multiple good episodes. But this is actually miles better than Don't Feed Wild Animals, because Don't Feed Wild Animals I liked for the uniqueness and the aesthetic, but this episode is genuinely just Royce being a good person. Snap, if you're watching this, please bring back Royce and say that he's a good friend and not a brat. Take it on a battle with the brats, because this episode is truly where it's at. So Maker loses his toy, and so Royce comes over, and Maker has lost his toy. Royce tries to help him, and also tries to make him feel better, like any good friend does. But then they go to the park, and then when Truly and Flora give probably the most crap advice ever. Well, I mean, I think it was Truly. Truly said that she lost her toy and found it after like 28 days, almost a month, not as bad. But then Flora said that she also lost her toy, but the wiki said that she never found it, and I don't know when she found it in the actual episode, but I know that she actually found it. Okay, edit. She actually did never found it. That's a Mandela effect. I swear that Flora found her dolls, but it was like after 4 years or like 6 years. Like, huh? And also, I forgot to put this in my that's an opinion, not a fact segment, but I legitimately thought that episode was in 2020, but I got it confused with Don't Waste Your Money, Bedoys. Why? Because they have the exact same title card, besides Royce is just meaning something different. Royce Mandela effects like crazy. And I can't believe I just found out this one. That's actually crazy. But also there's a plot hole in this episode. In the episode No Stealing Royce Bedoys, I don't like that episode. It's just Royce steals Maker's car, and Flora somehow remembers this. Even though she wasn't introduced until later that year. So she's probably just a fan. So I'm pretty sure what they did was that she's just a fan of the show, and she's just like a fan of the show, and begs her mom to come to the school, but then got scared because she thought everybody there would not like her. That's a stupid headcanon. But, yeah. Mandela effect. And Royce being a better friend than Truly, Flora, and Glenn. Which to some people might sound surprising, but honestly, he's been a good friend a multitude of times. Even a good brother. A bunch of times. People just like to dog on him because, oh, that's what I bound the brass. Moving on.
Disappointment in the game of life.
This episode actually is what the title card says. It's just Royce not managing his time well. They invite they invite everybody to a party. And then to his next year parties, for some reason, I think he just wanted to have a hangout. And he wanted to order pizza, but he didn't order it. And when he did order it, it was coming in an hour. I don't think pizza should take that long. I understand if you have like 1 to like 3 delivers, but then I understand. But if that's the estimated time for pizza making, I'm not sure about that. Then they're playing games, and the voice big fat stinking toe, despite probably being the corniest part of this episode, is actually made me laugh, which is actually surprising for this year of Voice Bedoys. But when I think it was truly one, if it's not, then correct me in the comments or in the live chat because I don't want my comments to be flooded with something I already know. He said, and then Rose Boy says that his prize has to wait in the mail. Couldn't he just give her another prize? He has a lot of toys, so why can't he just give her a prize that he doesn't use, unless it's something that he doesn't like? But I find that stupid. And then the pizza gets there, and then everybody's happy. Oh yeah, also the lesson. They also teach Rose's lesson. That's literally it for this entire episode. I have nothing else to say about this. The dream is usually the part you remember anyways.
Disappointment in the game of life.
Oh yes, I remember this episode. This is the episode that made me famous. You wouldn't be watching this episode right now if it wasn't for this. Or maybe it wasn't, I don't know. But one of my most viewed videos was my most viewed video, but now it's not. But I edited Voice Bedoys video back in 2022 because I was bored, and it got a bunch of views, 14,000 actually. Yeah, it's not really that good compared to some other people, but it's 14,000 people. It's actually a huge milestone for me to get over 10,000. Because imagine 10,000 people swarming your house. That's basically what this would be. But still, even though this episode did make me where I am today, I still have to put it on my... It still is that worst episode honorable mention. It's just because that this episode is trash. So everybody's in the car and they're all fighting because Baby Joyce is being annoying. Well, I mean, she's not being annoying. Well, I mean, that's just what Bruce says. She's not actually actively trying to be annoying, but still. And then they miss their turn, and they have to do all this stuff. And then when they actually get to the beach, the boys build sandcastles, and Royce builds a dinky one while Royce builds a whole castle. But then Royce is sad because his sandcastle is better. Then they play a game called Don't Let the Ocean Touch Your Feet. And they obviously failed at that game because the ocean took the sandals, and Royce got wet. But then the ocean gave back Royce's sandals and not Royce's sandals, which I still don't understand how it gave back Royce's, because Royce is bad, and also I don't think that's how gravity works. And then Royce's sandcastle gets destroyed, and then we have my favorite line. And then I have my favorite. And then in the edited one, I had the favorite line I've ever said. Hey, Lloyds, let's take a fun trip to the adoption center. I thought people would like that, and no, they like when I said Lloyds has a weird thick face, which, I mean, they're not wrong. Again, I'm not showing it because you could just watch it yourself, and I'm too lazy for that. But then Royce has to explain to their parents that vacation is ruined, and they yap, and then the episode's over. Also, for some reason, I don't know if this is just a Canadian thing, if Canadians pronounce ruined as ruined, and that's something weird. Cartoon characters just don't know how to pronounce ruined, because we have voice boys saying ruined, and then we have Stewie saying ruined. So, yeah, but this episode is bad because it's voice boys torture, but hey, it got me 1,000 subscribers, so I'm not that upset. Hey, boys, let's take a fun trip to the adoption center.
Disappointment in the game of life.
I actually thought this was going to be a boring episode until I actually watched it again. This episode is actually really, really funny. Probably the funniest episode of this year. It's mostly because when Gems apparently, because the crayons touched the, because when touched the crayons and now the crayons touched me. That was actually kind of funny. Even though I know it wasn't supposed to be. Even though this episode is boring and it's kind of repetitive, and actually is really funny, but really, I'm sorry, but that's all I have to say about this episode. Well, I mean, yeah, the comedy was good, but nothing else really.
Disappointment in the game of life.
Oh, this episode. I do not like this episode. Honestly, it's because of his concoction he made. Because Royce straight up because Roy said that eating vegetables with salt, pepper, and sauce is good. Even though it's really not. It might be a Canadian dish. It might just be a Canadian thing, but maybe, let's see. Okay, let's search this up and see if it's true. Is pudding sauce, salt, and and pepper on veg. I'm just gonna say veggie, screw it. A popular Canadian thing. Eating salt, and vegetable is common practice in Canada. It's not uniquely a Canadian thing. Oh. So I guess it's not popular in Canada. So if it's not a Canadian thing, will someone from America like it? Let's find out. But before I actually start doing it, I just want to say that instead of using sauce, because that's disgusting, I'm going to be using ranch dressing. But that's a dressing! Yeah, but I'm not using barbecue sauce on freaking cauliflower. That's disgusting. And also, I don't have pepper, so it's just going to be salt, cauliflower, ranch, and throw up. So, let's go. So actually, I didn't have any salt, but I didn't actually have pepper, so I'm gonna just break off a little piece because I don't like pepper, and it's gonna taste so bad. I didn't taste any black pepper. Let's try without. So, it didn't. So, I can't even taste the black pepper, so I don't know why he even added it. And for sauce, I should have used Chick-fil-A sauce instead of ranch, because maybe Chick-fil-A sauce, I don't have any Chick-fil-A sauce right now, but I should have used that instead, because that's actually sauce. And also, the ranch just took away the black pepper flavor. There wasn't even any black pepper flavor to begin with, but I don't understand how Lois was trying, and I was like, this is groundbreaking. It tastes nothing. It tastes like nothing. It just tastes like cauliflower. Now you can see why I don't like this episode.
Disappointment in the game of life.
Appreciate your teacher's voice, bedoys. You know an episode's bad when I have to start it off like that. But this episode is just boring. Well, I mean, it's not really boring, but like, it's just Royce not appreciating his teacher and then letting that he actually does appreciate his teacher. I know I can't appreciate my teacher because they can't appreciate me. Back in 5th grade, my teacher straight up told me that she was tired of me on the phone with someone. Yeah, I'm not joking. Actually. And now, I don't think, and now I go out, I see them I see my 5th grade teacher at gym because when they're outside, I'm also outside for gym. And I'll never even, and if she tries to say hi to me, I won't. Yeah, I know how you treated me. And plus, the end part where they're telling them, those boys, everything that they've done is completely crap because I think it was Truly who said, you also learned the colors of the rainbow from Miss H. No, they didn't. She didn't even appear in the episode about rainbows. So, like, and also, the points are literally from episodes from 2019 and 2020. Like, I like the references. I like when Royce episodes reference others. But why would you reference episodes from back then? Shouldn't you use wash your hands? What happened to your hands was Miss H taught them something. You could have used something from that episode because that was actually in the year. And also, Royce is so mesmerized when he hears that library is not library. Even though he goes on to say library later in the year, and the Royce discovers things. I won't. And speaking of Royce discovers, spoiler alert, I'm going to group them all into one except for one of them because one of them took away some of my fun. But yeah, this episode is just not my cup of tea.
Disappointment in the game of life.
Fat Royce bedoys. That's it. It's just Fat Royce trying to adapt to activities when the only one's actually soccer. That's all I have to say about this episode. I didn't want to watch this episode because I'm too lazy. But yeah, that's basically what happens. Fat Royce was trying to play soccer and other stuff. Yeah, but fun fact, this is actually the last episode to include the fan art from around the world. Yeah, remember that? Remember when Woohoo Storytime used to do fan art from around the world? I'm not that I get upset about is that always when things end, whenever I see a fan art thing, it always ends before I could get in. Like the BMO cartoon contest thing, I made a drawing from it since clearly BMO can't draw. Hey, shut up, BMO. Okay, but look at my drawing. Isn't it cool? Yeah, I tried making it where BMO wrapped his arm around me, but I can't draw. Silly you. You actually think I can draw? And that's why I use a light motion and stock images instead of actually learning how to animate.
Disappointment in the game of life.
This is just Royce believing everything he sees online. That's literally it. I'm so tired of doing this retrospective. It's because I feel like I'm missing out. Because I want this to be out really. That's not even the reason why. It's because I feel like I'm missing out on a bunch of important things about these episodes. But I don't want to watch every single episode because that's tiring. I don't want to do that. But hey, the night sky that they use in this episode is probably the prettiest thing to come out of this cartoon. Even though they never use this scene again. Hey, at least it's really fun to look at. Kill me.
Disappointment in the game of life.
We just got a bad episode. We just got a bad episode. We just got a bad episode. This is the worst episode on the Measure of 2022 episode. Yay! This episode is literally the most hypocritical episode Woohoo Storytime could have ever made. Because it's basically just Voice Boy saying his opinion on stuff. And remember, I'm going to bring this episode up again. Remember Don't Sweat the Small Stuff, Voice Boys? I mean, of course you remember I said it earlier in this video. But this is basically that episode, but Voice Boys is the person that's in the wrong, apparently. And it's just basically everybody getting mad about Voice Boys stating his opinions, even though I have proof that they also did it too. Like this time.
You're not that good at catching the football, Royce Bedoys.
Or this time.
Goalie. Oh, no. Not again. Sorry, Royce Bedoys, but you're not a very good goalie. I'm just being honest. You're good at kicking the ball.
Or this time.
Of that board game. How can you love a game that you always lose at? Yeah, you always lose. Are you sure you want to play that? Hey, that's not...
So it's literally bullcrap coming out of everybody in the Voice Boys' friend group's mouths because they're so mad that Voice Boys is stating their opinions, even though they did it 10 times worse later 2 years. Okay. Kill me!
Disappointment in the game of life.
Just like Vacation is Ruined, Voice Boys, this episode was my first ever reaction on my channel. Yes, it's outdated and I cringe every time I watch it, and this is part of the reason why I made the reaction series. But this episode is just horrible. Yes, it got me where I am today with all my reactions, but this episode is just horrible. So, Mika invites everybody to a party. Even Coda and Hopper join along because the more the merrier, I guess. And then they have to have the door open so if anybody gets hit, they could hear them. Yeah, I would comment on this, but this is a normal thing I can do. My sister does it sometimes. So, yeah, it's nothing really that. It's something that normal people do, but I still find it stupid sometimes. Like, if you're just having a fun little hangout, unless you're playing the, knife hand game, then I would have the door open. But if you're just hanging out, sharing secrets, then I don't really understand what's the problem. Because in the episode, this is just a normal little hangout. It isn't even a party. So why do we have to have the door open? That just seems like a waste of space and time. Seriously. But yeah. But the part with the ships is the reason why this is one of Voice Boys' worst years. Voice Boys is about to double dip and everybody stops him. And then he brings up solutions like rotating the chip and dip with an unbitten part. That's actually so smart that I wish I thought of it first. But Wen has to say, no! Well, screw you, Wen. That was probably the best idea that you could even have. And then he says another thing that Mika says no to. I forget what it was. Remind me in the live comments, not the actual comments. I don't want my comments to be flooded with, oh, he said this and that. When, honestly, it's just going to be annoying. And then Bruce says another unknown thing, and then everybody stops, and then he says the right thing, and everybody's happy. Rotating the chip is probably the best idea to do. I use this trick, and I posted it on my channel a few days ago. But this is just sad. Like, way, way too sad. And guess what? It only goes downhill from here. So, yay! Wait, I think I forgot to include this. Worst episode of 2022. Honorable mention, of course. Yeah.
Disappointment in the game of life.
Remember you guys Scam Voice from 2024? That's essentially this episode, but Roblox is just different. Also, just a friendly reminder that BFDI exists in the Voice world because the game they were playing were Find the Markers, which was based off of Marker from BFDI. So technically BFDI does exist in the Voice universe, which I find super hilarious. But yeah, that's really all I have to say about this episode. Nothing more, nothing less, just boring.
Disappointment in the game of life.
This episode is just This episode is just Royce trying to fit himself in a mold that he thinks that Thorn apparently runs, because if he doesn't fit himself in the mold, then no one's gonna like him. That's basically the entire episode and the plot. Literally the moral of the entire episode. Yeah, I have nothing else to say about this episode. So yeah, but funny story that I hardly remember, but I remember when I was making the reaction for this video, near the end, my brother, while I was recording it, near the end, my brother just came into the room and yelled. Yeah, yelled. I still don't have the original. I don't have the original video because I deleted it, but it would have been so. But honestly, it would have been so funny if I still had it. But yeah, that's basically all of the episode. Moving on.
Disappointment in the game of life.
Like every single rule episode, you already know how it's gonna go. Royce is just not gonna know how to use rules at places. This is actually what this episode is. First, he wants to push someone in the pool, which, I mean, would have been so funny. This episode would have been much better if he actually did that. But then he ran near the pool, and a lifeguard had to stop him. And when he got into the water, he wanted to bring drinks and snacks into the pool. Snacks, yeah, I understand, but drinks, unless it's like Mountain Dew or Fanta or something like that, unless it's water or sparkling water, why wouldn't you be allowed to bring drinks in? Like, it's water. You're surrounded by complete water. And plus, this was made in September 30th. Why are you going to an indoor pool in September? Yeah, I know, indoor pool for like an indoor pool because it's too cold outside, but still. Also, something I don't get is that this episode is like the fourth most, like fourth, fifth, sixth, or something like that, most viewed video of the entire of Voice's history. Yeah, so this episode is sort of iconic, even though because it has more views than why, tell me why. Yeah, that episode. So, just a friendly reminder that that this is more popular than why, tell me why. Also, remember Voice Roku? I completely forgot about that, but I'm going to see if it still exists on my Roku TV. Is it like a channel? I forget what it was, but yeah, that's something I don't want to reminisce about right now. So yeah, this episode, boring.
Disappointment in the game of life.
Oh God, do you guys remember this episode? So, Chai John or whatever your name is, I don't know how to pronounce it. You forgot you forgot this episode in the in the Woohoo Storytime land. So Voice is just addicted to his iPad. Oh come on! All I said was iPad. I guess I have to be a law-abiding citizen and say pie pad, even though pies aren't nutritious, and you can't even eat a pie pad during March. What? Bimo, I already know what you're gonna say. Stop! You're gonna fry that yolk into the ground. Yolk. I don't even know what that has to do with the situation, though. But still, you're dragging that joke. No, I'm not. Now get out of my studio before I make you get out. Fine. Oh, I'm so sorry. But essentially, the only thing I can say about this episode is that I think they went a little bit too far in making the faces. Like it's not as scary as a certain episode I know, but this is just scary. But yeah, that's all I have to say about this episode.
Disappointment in the game of life.
Okay, let's take a break from screaming and yelling, even though I'm going to do it right after this episode. Because this episode is actually really nice. Because it's just Voice being a germaphobe, which we did see earlier this year. So I like how they actually reference an older episode that actually premieres in the year, even though they did do that other times, I know. But it's not a direct reference, but I feel like they're really implying that Voice is still a germaphobe, but he knows that it's okay to get dirty. Speaking of getting dirty, we have the infamous scene.
Let's get dirty!
I probably just have a dirty mind, but that's the highlight of this episode. Yeah, but and also fun fact, this was one of the first episodes that I found out that Pigs Edits XXD was copying me. Do y'all remember Birds, Pigs Edits XXD? Most of my friends that were still alive and doing episodes at that time no longer are active like Andrew or this person, but and most of my fans I don't think will remember Birds Pigs Edits XXD, and that's why I'm here to teach you. So Birds Pigs Edits XXD started copying my episode formats in some episodes and using my ideas for some episodes. He did voice reactions, and no, he wasn't inspired. Sometimes I used to put little footnotes in my titles, like for this episode I put trampoline noises. Later, he made an exact same video, but now it's with snoring noises. Where do you think he got that thing from? And he literally hated on so many of my videos, and I still do, but he deleted his account, so you can't go to his account and rant on him. But I still have some videos left over from when he said from those times. In one episode, he straight up said that he was gonna kill me. I'm not joking. Here's the clip.
He sounds like Pix Edit XD. You know what? I'm gonna kill him right now.
So yeah, I hope you guys know that we definitely didn't like each other. And I know me saying that we didn't like each other is a little bit of an understatement, because if he does clips like this, then I don't know what to think. But for all my new fans that comment on my videos all the time, that's the story of Pigs Edits XXD. And also Andrew Animates, or whatever your name was. Please come back. Or if you have a new account, please tell me it, because I need to know what you're doing right now. So, Rocky, what brings you in here? So, there's an episode of bedoys called No Hitting bedoys, and it's been causing me a lot of pain, physically, mentally, and even more physically. Why does this make you upset? Okay, do you want me to explain it to you? Okay, so bedoys is watching TV, and then Lois snatches the controller from him, and then bedoys hits him. Lois starts crying, and bedoys gets disciplined, and not Lois. Okay, and what's wrong with that? Why does Lois get disciplined, and not? Why does bedoys get disciplined and not Lois? What bedoys did? He was just teaching himself self-defense, and if you want him to use these skills in the real world, why would you discipline him? Okay, I think you're getting too mad. Yeah, I'm sorry, Doc. So next, he's in line. He's telling everybody about how he is, about what happened last night, and Mega makes the smart decision to say, why can't you just ask it back like a normal person? He snatched the controller away from him. Why should he have to ask him back? Basic human decency doesn't work with violence. Okay, yeah, you're getting worked up again. I'm sorry. And then, while they're waiting in line to go into the classroom, bedoys pushes one. That's not as bad, but the next part is what's really making me bad, and the reason why I scheduled a thing here. Okay, what happened? So then, bedoys is angrily playing with blocks. Because he's playing with them angrily because he just got yelled at by Miss H, and this was the first time she ever frowned. So he made her frown for the first time ever, actually. And then Mega needs more blocks, so he goes over, steals his blocks. bedoys hits him, and he still gets in trouble. No, why should I calm down? And you know what else? They call him a baby. Because like Mega did not just go over there, steal his blocks, and then just go back over. Lucky, you're getting worked up. No! Screw this episode. Screw you. Screw this stupid therapy room. I am leaving and never coming back. I'm actually jumping because this episode just makes me so freaking mad. Yeah, you know what it is. It's the worst episode of 2022 and one of the worst episodes of all time of bedoys history. Not the worst episode ever. That spot has already been taken two things ago. But this episode absolutely sucks. And I already stated why it sucks. Why does bedoys get in trouble for defending himself? Lois literally snatched the controller too. And he gets a lesser punishment? No. He should get an even bigger punishment because bedoys was just enjoying his show. He was doing absolutely nothing. But no. Snatched the controller out of his hands, and he's getting in trouble for it. and then Mega steals his blocks, and Royce gets in trouble. Hell, they even call him a baby for it. He gets called a baby for defending himself. What has Royce come to? This episode is absolutely so bad. I cannot explain to you how bad this episode. If I say this episode is an infinity times 12 out of 10 negative, is obviously negative, because that would just be. I'm still being way too generous. This episode deserves to die in the hole. It's so bad that when I was first making the reaction for this episode, I got a warning on my. The comments just kept on getting turned off. I did nothing, and my comments were just turned off. I wanted my comments to be on because I wanted people to realize how bad this episode is. So I just went and deleted the original reaction. What about it? It was 18 minutes long. 18 minutes. The episode is only 4 minutes. Yeah, that's how bad this episode is. There has never, this episode, the entire therapy scene is, I've been, I don't even know what I can say that isn't, I hate this episode, because there is nothing to say. It's just mean-spirited, voice getting bullied slop. And the worst part is, if this was a Maker episode, Royce would get called a baby for stealing his blocks. Because if the roles were reversed, Maker would still be in the right because he's goody two-shoes. That just shows how hypocritical this show is. If Maker commits Grand Theft Auto in every single state, and also kills people in 12 of those states, he would get away with it because it's Maker. He's never did anything. He's never apparently hurt a fly. Shit. But if Royce accidentally stepped on a bug that he didn't even know was there, and it was literally the size of an atom, he would get in trouble. He would literally go to jail and get dropped in a gas chamber, and then while he's on the floor dead, they'll incinerate his body 12 more times until you don't even know he's Royce anymore. I cannot explain. This episode is just so miraculously bad that I can't even say anything anymore. This episode just sucks. It's not as bad as that episode, but it's horrible. This is my second least favorite episode of Royce as a whole. Whenever I'm saying my least favorite episodes, it always is either, sometimes it's Don't Be Toxic Royce, or it's this episode. But honestly, Don't Be Toxic isn't as bad. It's a horrible episode. But my least favorite part, but it's not really as bad as this episode. And guess what? We still have one more episode, and also and the next one is also a bad episode. Yay! Negative infinity times infinity times infinity times infinity times infinity times 12 times 2,763 times 6, 7 times 41 times, I'm talking about in it out of 10. Screw this episode, and screw me for deciding to make a 6-7 joke in this thing.
Disappointment in the game of life.
Again, another worst episode of 2025. 2025? What? worst episode of 2022 honorable mention. I'm so sorry for that slip up. But like, I used to absolutely despise this episode, but now I realize that it isn't really that as bad as I thought it was. But this episode still sucks. It's not as bad as I thought it was, because I thought him looking at Maker's password and then Maker yelling at him wasn't justifiable, and that Maker was in the wrong. But then I realized that someone looking at other people's passwords is a bad thing, because they could try to distribute it. But all the other things in this video are just yell at Royce Bedoys slop. Because, okay, here's everything Royce Bedoys got in trouble for. So, he got in trouble for... So first off, he got yelled at for looking in Truly's backpack. I'm not even joking. It's not like he just looked in the backpack for, like, what's wrong with looking in the backpack unless there's like personal items in there. I'm not gonna say them. This video will get copyright strikes and I'll probably get canceled, but yeah, then that would probably be unjustifiable. But like, unless you're having because what could Truly possibly have in there? She has a pig backpack, which is the only good thing about her backpack, and she's literally still in kindergarten. So what could she possibly be in there that's so bad? Sparkled notebooks, like, now you can see, like, she doesn't have any drugs in there, Royce, you're just trying to yell at Royce Bedoys because it's Royce Bedoys, honestly, at this point. And then Royce Bedoys then gets in trouble for looking in Flora's birthday card. I understand why he might get yelled at for this, because, don't spoil surprises from just last year when this came out. But Royce Bedoys does not know your cousin. He's not going to tell your cousin about your birthday card. That shit, again, this is just yell at Royce Bedoys slop. And then later, Royce Bedoys looks at Gwen's phone and her texts. Yeah, I understand why this would be bad. I don't like people looking at my phone neither, or touching it, because I'm scared they're going to install a bunch of malware and viruses just on accident. But, and also if I'm in school, they have grubby little lunch hands, since we're all allowed to have our phones out in lunch, perks of being a middle schooler, but it's a phone and text messages. What is he possibly going to do about it? Do you call your mom Snuffleupagus or something like that? You're scared that he's going to show that to the world? Come on. This entire episode is just yell at Royce Bedoys slop at its finest. So, yeah, moving on. Oh yeah, I forgot to add this. But this November is probably the worst month of Royce Bedoys ever, because the only 2 episodes in this month were both horrible yell at Royce Bedoys slop, and that's it. So yeah.
Disappointment in the game of life.
This episode just makes me realize how much I hate Coda. This and Don't Sweat the Small Stuff for Royce Bedoys are the 2 episodes where he has his worst appearances. Because in here, he reminds everybody, he says that Royce Bedoys has a hole in his shirt and treats it like a joke, even though Royce Bedoys obviously doesn't want to hear it. And And then when everybody gets mad at him for saying that, because why wouldn't you get mad at him? He's literally bullying him. he tries playing the victim and is like, you just want to laugh, just let it out. It makes everybody laugh, even in Hopper laughs even louder. Like, Coda, I cannot even do this anymore. But this episode isn't worst episode honorable mentions bad, but oh yeah, I forgot. Flora's story was just so important that they didn't even care about Rose Billy showing up. Yeah, I am not joking. So yeah, this episode is bad, but not no hitting bad or even worst episode honorable mention bad. So yeah.
Disappointment in the game of life.
Christmas time is here. Let's see what I got for Christmas this year for Rosebud's 2022. What the hell? What is this? This isn't a Christmas episode. Well, this episode came out 2 days before Christmas. So, it would be the perfect time to release a Christmas episode. Well, I'm sorry you're getting this. Screw you! So in this episode, Voice just does things sloppily and then has to redo them. That's it. No, let's read the trivia. So, Lloyd says you spill instead of you spilled. And literally like 1 second after, Rose grows an extra freckle. I am so glad that this is the last episode. Like I just can't anymore. And this isn't even the last retrospective. No. I should enjoy my time before I do 2012. Oh my god. And that's all for right now, folks. I can't believe I did all of this in in the span of only 3 days. Like I did the 2 most shortest seasons first, and those took me like a whole week to finish. While this only took me 3 days, and this season was actually really long. Probably because I didn't have to add music, so I didn't have to go through that trouble. But yeah, I really hope you enjoyed the video. But with Battle for BMO going on, I don't think in me trying to get the last episode out before Halloween because I think it would actually make sense to release it on Halloween. I don't think I can make any more retrospectives until after Battle for BMO, and I think I'll make one during November because after that I'm going to be starting a remastered version of Objective Show. So yeah, and that's going to be my schedule. So I really hope you enjoy this one because I'm not going to be making one for the entire rest of the month because of Battle for BMO, of course. Oh yeah, and I thought I needed to include this. Okay, let's speed run the Voice Discover series. You know what? How about no? The best one is the Leaf Thief one. The worst one is No David. I think I'll do a separate retrospective about those episodes. But for right now, I'm just gonna rant about the Christmas one because really, that's seriously what we got for Christmas this year. Nobody likes Voice side series. Voice Discovered sucks. It was just Voice filler slop. And Faith Quest, nobody asked for. We don't want to push religion on people. We don't want to push religion on like our Voice fans and stuff. And the Sight Witches, y'all remember that? The only good thing to come out of that one was Maker's do song, and literally that's it. So yeah, the side series for this year is bad. That's all I have to say. Bye.